Layer menu. The layer menu is divided into 4 sections. Special layer buttons. They allow controlling certain layers of the map, such as the position pointer layer, the tracks layer, and the cosmetic layer. User layers. It is a scrollable list that displays all the layers within the map from top to bottom. The top layers are the last to be drawn on the map. It is possible to change their position by pressing and holding on the title of a layer and then dragging it to the new location. Background layers. It works similarly to the user layers, but in this section all layers are of the Web Map Services type. Settings and Tolos. These are the fixed buttons at the bottom. Add or manage resources, measure on the map, undo and redo, and settings. Special layer buttons. Track. Tapping this button opens a menu that allows you to show or hide the tracks layer on the map, display the table data in the data grid, center the map on the tracks layer, edit the layer's data filter, and prevent its elements from being selected on the map when tapped. It also allows real-time saving of GPS coordinates into the tracks table. Current position cursor. This button shows or hides the current position cursor on the map. Show or hide geometry in editing. This button will only appear when editing a geometry on the map and serves to show or hide the geometry being edited. Layer icons. This icon indicates that it is a vector layer. Pressing it once will select it, indicating that the new data generated will be saved in the table associated with the layer. You may be prompted to choose the geocoding service that will be used to survey it. If held down, the intrinsic table will be displayed in the data grid. Hold it down again to close the grid. Show, hide. With a tap, the layer is shown or hidden on the map. If held down, only this layer will be visible, and the rest of the layers in the group will be hidden. To undo this action, hold it down again. Filter. If no filter is defined, a dialog will open to set one. With a tap, you can activate or deactivate the filter applied to the intrinsic table. You can also open the dialog by holding down the icon. Snap. With a tap, you can activate or deactivate the snap or magnetic nodes. If held down, the snap will be activated only on this layer and deactivated on the rest. To revert this action, hold down the same icon again. Touchable layer. With a single tap, interaction with the geometries in this table is enabled, allowing them to be touchable on the map. If held down, only this layer will be touchable, and the rest will be disabled. To undo this action, hold down the icon again. Dynamic style. This icon lights up if the table has a dynamic style. If held down, you'll access the window where you can disable the dialog. You can create a new dynamic style or select an existing one. With a tap, the dynamic style applied to the layer is enabled or disabled. If you tap on the layer name, a pop-up menu will appear with the following options. Show or hide layer. Shows or hides the layer on the map. Hide other layers. Shows only the current layer and hides the current layer. Restore hidden layers. This option undoes the previous function. Show in data browser. Displays the intrinsic table in the data browser. Show or hide labels. Labels are displayed on the map next to the geometries. They show the tuple descriptor that can be configured in the Resource Manager within the table options. Center on map. Moves the map to the center of the layer. Snap enabled or disabled. When enabled, all nodes of all geometries in the intrinsic table will have magnetic nodes during drawing. Edit filter. Opens a dialog to set a data filter on the intrinsic table. Select dynamic style. Opens the window where you can create a new dynamic style for the intrinsic table or select an existing one. Select geocoder. Allows choosing a geocoder to survey data in the intrinsic table. Delete layer. Removes the layer from the map. This action doesn't delete the intrinsic table or its data, so it can be added again through the Resource Manager. Transparency. Opens a dialog to adjust the layer's transparency percentage on the map. Allow or block clicks. Enables or disables the geometries in this table from being selectable on the map. Move all geometries. Opens a dialog to move all the table's geometries by a certain distance. Using delta x, delta y in delta z values or azimuth and dip from their original point. Warning. This action modifies the geometries stored in the database. Rename layer. Allows changing the layer's descriptive name, without affecting the intrinsic table name. Raster layer. This icon indicates it's a raster layer. It's informational only and has no actions. Each raster layer is associated with a georeferenced image that is rendered on the map. Show or hide. A tap activates or deactivates the layer's visibility on the map. When held down, only that layer will be shown and the rest of the group will be hidden. Tapping the layer name shows a pop-up menu. Show or hide layer. Activates or deactivates visibility on the map. Hide other layers. Shows only the selected layer and hides the rest. Restore hidden layers. Reverses the previous action. Center on map. Moves the map to the layer's visible position. Delete layer. Removes the layer from the map, but doesn't delete the intrinsic raster. Transparency. Move. Opens a dialog to move the intrinsic raster by a certain distance, azimuth, and dip from its original point, or using delta x, delta y and delta z values. Rename layer. Allows changing the layer's descriptive name. This change doesn't affect the intrinsic raster name. Background layers. Each background layer is associated with a web map service that provides satellite image tiles on the map. This icon indicates that it's a web map service layer. It's informational only and has no actions. Show or hide. Tapping the layer name will display a pop-up menu. Show or hide layer. Hide other layers. Delete layer. Offline maps. Allows downloading the visible map area to internal memory for a set period. We'll discuss this function in the next video. Rename layer. Allows changing the layer's descriptive name. Bottom buttons. Resource Manager. Accesses a screen where you can add resources to the map and manage them. Measure. Enters geometry editing mode, where you can draw a line that works as a measuring tape, showing different measurements in the status bar at the top of the map. Node x, y, and z, values of the selected node's coordinates in the map's unit of measurement. Az, dp, d and dz. Azimuth, dip and length of the vector between the node before the selected one and the current one. If the coordinate has a z component, dz is the 3D vector length and d is the flattened length. Td and tdz. Total length of the polyline. If the coordinate has a z component, tdz is the 3D polyline length and td is the flattened length. Tp. Total perimeter of the polygon resulting from closing the polyline, ignoring the z component of its nodes if present. Ta. Total area of the polygon resulting from closing the polyline, also ignoring the z component. Undo or redo. Tapping this button undoes the last modification made. Holding it down redoes the last undone modification. If you keep holding, the redo action will repeat. Preferences. Accesses the General Preferences window.